trying to think about where we I was trying to think about where we first met at because I can't remember.
Wasn't it at the look? It was something in Killeen. It was like a. It
Was it
was
at a networking event?
yeah. It was a networking event. That's what I about to say. It wasn't at no brunch. I didn't meet you at the brunch.
I think it was
Was it
buddy
the one that stopped at a?
Eugene. Eugene had like a black business meetup, I think,
Where at? I'm trying to figure. Did you go to that one
somewhere
that
in
was
the
in the hotel?
Killeen.
That was in the hotel. Like a lot. No, that's when I. Nah, that's when I met Regis. Now I think.
I think it was the same day. I think I met you the same day that I
Oh
met
no,
Regis.
you know where we met at. I'm tripping. We met at Possible. That's where we met
Nah,
at,
we knew each other before that.
right?
Yeah, no, we knew each other before that.
We
That's
had
what I was, man. Look, we immortal beings. You know what I'm saying?
man,
We knew each other for centuries.
yeah, for real. Because I now
That's
you
why
got me
we
thinking.
can't
Because
pinpoint a time.
I never thought about it. Now you got me thinking. I'm like, hold on, where did I? You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah,
know.
that's
I
why
just,
you can't pinpoint a time. I couldn't either.
I just know. You know what I'm saying? Since day one, the vibe was just it was
Right,
on the
right.
same on the same thing. Just about just I just loved your grind. You was always just I could see it in your mind. I said, man, you moving 1,000 miles an hour in that head. I seen it. You was putting them plays together.
Man.
You was trying to figure it out, man. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but everybody that's tapped in, man, welcome to Realer Than Real Estate Wednesdays. You know, I got my boy Mike in the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm let him introduce himself real quick. You know what up of Facebook? We on Instagram. I mean, we on Wealthers Games on Facebook, but y'all know you can see us right here on YouTube on the channel. What's up? What's up, partner? What's
Man,
going on?
shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. It's a pleasure to finally share the screen with you. I know it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, yeah, we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
And
it's
I ain't give up
amazing
on
though.
it. I know you was busy. I said I ain't giving up on it. I'm gonna sit there and bake on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit there and wait on it. You feel me?
Right,
I know
right, right,
the thing about business sometimes, like, and this is something I have to learn. Sometimes when like sometimes people can never do nothing because you want it to happen on your time. You feel me? Like just because
right,
I wanted something to happen on my time, that don't mean it was the right time. And sometimes we don't never really team up because somebody could take that disrespectful or somebody could take that personal and not understand that this man got a full $1 billion dream just like you got one, and it's gonna be because the love and the respect is always that's there. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
sometimes you just got to give it that time. So that's why I was like, man, I've been banking on it because you the one came up with the name. A lot of people would be thinking they would think I came up with the name because it's really the real.
Right,
Actually,
right.
you the one told me. You
Yeah,
told me
yeah.
the name, man. You know, for real. So just, hey, let them know a little bit about you, man, and let's get the introduction of you. They know a little bit about me. You know what I'm saying? But let's
Right,
introduction on you, and then the concept of this show and what we plan to give the people.
right, right. So, my name is Mike Lane. I originally grew up on
Yes, sir,
Fort
man.
Hood, right? The biggest military base in the United States.
Yeah.
And so I kind of moved to Killeen after that. Typically, what most people that, parents retire from the military do, they move to Killeen, Texas. So that's
Yeah.
how I came to Killeen, So, I had found myself probably about like 6, 7, 8 years ago in some legal trouble, and the crazy thing is about it, Tony, we'll never talk about it. And I'm gonna just flow and chop it up with you.
Go
But
ahead and go with
I
it.
didn't even grow up like that.
Yeah.
Like we didn't grow up, I grew up on a military base. So, there was a lot of different people from a lot of different areas of the United States living in one small area, but I didn't grow up where there was like, heavy crime, heavy drug use. I had some family members staying with me that did their thing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But there was not really
It was not
a
rampant. It was not a yeah.
right, right. Like my family grew up, like I got family in like West Texas, you know what I'm saying, and in the Dallas area, like they grew up like that.
Yeah.
Me, my dad was one of I think nine, the youngest one. He was really the one that was successful, and his success was going to the military and just getting out of that area.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
how you escaped it.
right. So, and I grew up with two parents in the house. It was just, I had got into the streets, and like you said, my mind started racing. I was trying to be this, trying to be that, and me, I go hard with it.
Yeah,
Like if I
yeah.
get something in my mind,
I'm gonna
get
go all the
something
way
in my
with it.
heart, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go all the way with it. And that's exactly what I did. I went all the way with it. So I found myself in some legal trouble. But again, everything works out because long or short, I ended up, beating a 20-year case, and then I ended up working for the lawyer that worked my case in
Yeah.
2015. I ended up working with him for 6 years. Well, really like about 5 years. So I got out. I beat the charge in 2015. I worked with him till about 2020, and that's where I learned a lot of my understanding of business, understanding of real estate, things of that nature. Because he was a business attorney, he was a real estate attorney, and he was a criminal attorney. So
Yeah.
I was able to kind of get, flooded with all this new information and I'm a different person now. I think my mind is a little bit more clear. So I was able to take that information and utilize it to build a business with.
Nah, that's dope. I love because that's the first part of the story you told me. I'm like, hold on, you went back and worked at the firm, and that's how you got all this game and start learning. Because that's the thing. When we run to the streets, is because we have that genius, but the only genius we can tap into is that street. So we want to be the mastermind in this. But see,
Un-
when you got tapped into that world, you was like, okay, I'm gonna be the mastermind in that. So
yeah,
that's what I love when I'll be talking to you. I'll be telling you about like what I want to do with this youth. That's what kicked off the CEO Youth League. Because I'm like, if we can birth this stuff until then while they're young, because this stuff got birthed into us later. You know what I'm saying? Like I always had I always wanted to run a business and everything, but the streets money was so good, I didn't take it serious. You know what I'm saying? For a big chunk of my life. Because this was that was second nature to me. This was foreign. This was scary. This was nervous. But if somebody would have instilled this into me when I was young, it'd have been second nature. I'd have been having all kind of businesses about 18 years old.
that's true. I can relate. I say the same thing. Like, I ain't gonna put our family members like, had gambling problems and things or gambling issues,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But what if it wasn't gambling? What if it was like day trading or
Mhm.
options trading or
Yeah.
futures trading? Instead of putting your money in this slot machine, spending 100, 200, $300 a night,
Yeah.
what if you was putting that into the market?
Mhm.
Where would we be right now if our parents and our parents' didn't utilize that type of system as
Yeah.
far as gambling and things of that nature, but understood the correct had the correct information and applied it in a system that could really create generational wealth?
And
Where would we be?
that's why information is key because I told my mama this. I said, if you'd have just bought some Coca-Cola stocks in the 80s, I'll have a couple $100,000 right now just sitting around chilling.
That's
But
real.
she didn't even think about that because she bought me toys, she bought me all this other stuff, but she didn't buy me. You could have skipped one or two Christmas and I could have a few 100,000 just sitting in stocks and stuff like that. And then
Right.
so that's one thing I always say. But when we the culture. That's what I'm saying. It got to be the culture in it, and it got to start because I can't get mad at her because she was never given that game. My grandma didn't. My grandma taught her how to go to school and get a job, so she passed that down to me. Even though
Right.
it's a failing situation for me, that don't mean she did it. She did it for me to fail. She did it because that's the only way she knew. You know what I'm saying? So it's our job that now we know there's new information that we got to give it out. We got to pour it out. We got to change it, and we got to make this the new norm. To that, I'm not. You know what? Instead of buying this and blowing this, it's not wrong with whatever you want to celebrate or whatever. I don't get into telling people that, but I'm
Right.
saying, what would your kids do better if you skip 3 or 4 Christmases and you bought some land or you bought this or you bought that? I guarantee because most of these kids, and I laughed, I was just telling to my grandma about it. I said, them kids ain't. I was looking at the floor. I was like, them kids ain't even play with them toys. She said, no. She said they didn't care about them toys a day or two after Christmas. I'm talking about you didn't wasted thousands of. You could have bought them some stocks, or you could have bought them some property. You know what I'm saying? You could have came to my boy. He could have showed you how to put some grands together and do something with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not our culture. We're born to just work and spend. Not work and invest, not go without for a while. You know, like some people know we're gonna go without for a while so we can get to this goal, and then we're gonna buy this, and then we can go on a vacation later. We don't know about how to do that, and that's part of what we need to do in this show. We're gonna be talking about real estate, but we're gonna be tying it to life. So what do you think about just that mindset of, because we all battle, we all programmed to spend money, and that's something you had talked about how we, you know what I'm saying, we have to watch that and have to control that. And I'm still a junkie with spending money. I just got addicted to more invested money and like that. I still go broke. I still go for broke, but it's just in a different way.
Yeah. I think that's why. Hey, shalom, Ms. Brown. I think that's important. I think this conversation is important, and I think that's why the title to our show is Realer Than Real Estate, because the life lessons that we get from not only real estate but just in business period are really what's going to make us successful. It's not so much the money or the income, but it's the impact that it makes on us, and then it allows us to afford to buy our time back so that we can then return to the community and impact the community.
Yeah.
You see?
That's a big key right there.
Absolutely. And it's system, man, when we talk about generational curses, right? We say that, but when we really look at generational curses, the generational curse is not only systematic, it's not only mental, it's literally genetic, it's biological. Because when you look at like epigenetics, that means that, parents can pass trauma down to the children through their genes, through their genetics, right? So let me give you an example. There was this an experiment done with mice, right? And it's called the cherry blossom effect. So they would put a mouse or a rat, a lab rat, into a specific type of environment, and they would put a cherry blossom scent, which smelled almonds, in the environment. And anytime they put that scent in the environment, they would shock the rat, right? So they do it over and over and over again until the rat was deaf. He was just afraid of that scent. Okay. So then that rat had children. Okay. The children, if ever they came across that scent, or when they put the scent in the same environment as the children, they freaked out.
Yeah.
They freaked out. They had never been in that environment before, but something in them caused them to fear and to also be very angry and rage out.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only that, they took the rat and seed and artificially inseminated another female rat and had children, right? Those children were afraid and would rage out at the scent of the cherry blossom without even coming in contact with the father.
It's passed down.
See? It's passed down through genetics, right? So we come from a people that have been systematically oppressed for 400 plus years in this country. So all of that's why I love talking to you about our ancestors and things of that nature, because our ancestors are literally inside of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So we have all that trauma and all of that that pain and trauma inside of us. So we have to get through. That's why it's realer than just doing business, because you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. Because we have a lot of millionaires that have a lot of money in our community, but they don't build with one another.
And that's why we still got the same amount of wealth, even though we got way more millionaires and billionaires. But why? Yeah, go continue that. But why they don't do it?
Because systematically, we were taught not to.
Yeah. We're more
So
individualized.
we're more individualized. We like the we are so individualized, and we
Mhm.
think about ourselves and how, but not only is that's what I mean by it being a curse, because not only is that genetic, it's also systematic.
Yeah, yeah,
So not only do you genetically modify an individual to be individualistic, also put him in a system,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That teaches him to be individualistic. Hey, take care of yourself. Hey, do for you.
That
Don't do business with your family.
yeah,
Go to college, get yourself a good career, build yourself a family, things of that nature, right?
yeah.
So
It's
not
set up.
only is it's a setup,
Yeah,
right? It's a
and then
setup,
and then even when you're going through all that, and you know that, and you try to fight against that, then you have the one or two family members that kind of reinforces that why you shouldn't do it. But even then, you got to fight through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're like, okay, well, that don't mean all y'all bad. I just can't mess with you no more. You didn't cut your, you didn't waste it. You know what I'm saying? So
right?
even within that, because then we'll be like, well, I tried, but they messed up. I'm through with them, and we still can't even do it on that scale. Because like I tell people all the time, I was like, because we'll have our little businesses and we'll fire somebody. And we only got a couple employees, but we'll fire somebody and we're like, I ain't messing with nobody else. I'm just doing it myself. But I'm like Walmart hiring fire people every day. This part of the game. We got to get out the emotions of it. We hire people.
Right.
We try to get them to see if they do their job. If they don't do a good job, we go on to the next person. It's not like, Mike, you're gonna hire people. If they do, if you hire 5 people, they do a good job. You just gonna start doing all the work yourself. That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You have to just like, okay, well, they didn't work. I got to give me 5 more, and I'm just gonna have to vet it better. I'm just gonna have to do a different process. We just got to work better at it instead of to give up, quit. That's why I don't want to do it. We look for a reason not to succeed anyway. We always looking
It's
for a reason.
murder.
Like Dr. Boyce always say, we always
100%.
looking for a problem for every solution. No matter what solution I give you, you're gonna find a problem for it. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of the other way around.
Yeah, yeah. So that's part of us knowing that. So we have to deal with that. It's baked in. It's me and Rich Brown were talking about that last night. Like, even though you're for your people, you got to realize they're gonna be some of the first ones that hate. It's not a negative thing. It's being a realistic thing. It's about,
Right.
I've been in
Right.
business for a long time, and that's just seems what happens. That don't mean that the system, of course, is there. They already there to set it up for them to hate. They the one incentivize them to hate, or with that's how the Black Panthers. That's how all our movements fell off. Because they was
Right. Right.
incentivized. Somebody that looked like me was incentivized to come infiltrate and tear it down. We got to
Right.
know that's baked in there. That's why
Right.
I was telling the guy the other day, I want to deal with people that I see living that life. I don't want nobody just pop up out of nowhere. Don't nobody know you now. What kind of work you put in? Don't tell me you want to team up with me. You ought to be already doing something. Then we can team up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But you
Right.
just
Right.
pop out of the blue. I don't know but that don't mean they all bad. That just means that's a protective mechanism because I had conversations. Everything I'm doing, every level you go to, it's another level of love, but it's another level of hate, and that just come with it. You
That's
know,
true. That's
especially
true.
when you talk the way I talk, it's gonna be a show. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a system that don't like that, but then it's a group of my people that look like me don't like that. You need to sit down,
Right.
or you getting too big for your britches. Don't be trying to challenge the system like that. Who you think you is? We get all that type of stuff too. So they're gonna come from both sides, but we got to know that it's baked in the cake, man.
Have you heard the speech of Malcolm X? You got a house Negro and you got a field
Oh yeah,
Negro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a famous speech. We gotta see the reason why he was able to make that correlation of the ancestors basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 40, 50 years, maybe 2 or 3 generations behind him, and how it related to someone at his time
Yeah.
or a situation in his time, and how it relates. That's what you just explained. How it relates to a situation to us today is
Right.
because of the trauma that's passed down from the
Mhm.
father to the son, right? And that's what we got to restore
Yeah.
is those families, even if that family, see, me and you family,
Yeah.
you know why? Because we both on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean by that? Like we both
Same
going in the
mission,
same
same life
direction,
mission, same
same mission.
goal. Same. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's what in a community, that's what makes family.
Yeah.
because you know, in ancient times, like if you wasn't moving in the same direction as the tribe, you know, you get
Mhm. Yeah,
separated.
you got to go that. Yeah, you go your own way. Yeah,
You got to go your own
we
way.
moving as one. We moving
We,
as
that's
because that's
right.
how you survive. You know, you
That's how
can't
you
survive
survive.
when you got 1,000 people and everybody going a separate different way. But that's how we are in our community. We all going our own different way, our own different path, and that's cool to a certain extent. But you got to have it like, okay, I do my thing, I do, and you do your thing, right? But when we talk together, what we always talking about? How can we collab? What can we do? How, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's all we talk
Right.
about. Even though I know you super busy and you know what I got going on, but we always make sure that we don't sit back and just talk about, okay, I got this going on, or you say I got this going on, like I got this going on, but say what we gonna do? How can we do? Man, we need to meet up to do this. We need to meet up to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how
Right.
you stay tied to someone, even if y'all going separate ways. We still mentally on the same link because it's about the end goal for our people, our families, and that's what make you family. That's what make you, you know, like I said, so I'm related to a lot of people, but my family is the people that I connect with, and we talk about how can I make your family better? How can I make sure your kids straight? You know what I'm saying? Like when I get
Right.
to you, that's the kind of conversation we have, and I'm trying to figure out
Right.
what can we do together. What kind of play can we put together that's gonna have your kids straight? You know what I'm saying? We don't
Right.
get together play video games, and we don't get together to let's go drink and party, which I ain't knocking none of that. But
Right.
I'm more of the mindset. I need people around me that think about, oh man, I need to. If me and T come together, his family gonna be straight. My family gonna be straight off these plays.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's the ties I'm trying to bind because I didn't had a lot of them other ones and they don't last. They don't go the right way. You know, it's not constructive.
Right. No, that's real. And you know, the way I see it in my own personal life is like I started late. I started understanding business at the age of 32 years old. I'm 38 right now. As a matter
Yeah,
of fact, no, I was more like 34, 35 before I even knew what the difference between an asset and a liability was.
yeah, yeah.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
You telling me you went 35 years and you didn't know the difference between something that makes you money and something that takes your money, and you need to have more things in your life that make you money and less things in your life that take your money.
Yeah, simple stuff that we should have been taught at a young age. Like that should have been with our
Right.
ABCs, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. That should have been taught with our like ABCs, one, two, three, all that stuff. That's the
yeah,
most important in this society that we live in,
yeah,
a capitalist economy. Those are the lessons that we need to understand to be successful. But that's not what they teach us because they don't want us to be producers. They want us to remain consumers.
yeah, for sure.
Because if we can remain, that's why the whole school system is set up like, or the whole public system. And I'm not knocking the public system that much.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Okay.
I'd knock it, but I don't knock it because we just starting our own. I'm not gonna complain
Yeah.
about it too much.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start our own and we'll go from
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So, I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is though that the system in place that me and you probably went up through, I know I for sure went up through,
Yeah, I
it
did try
didn't
to
really,
drop out in ninth grade. Yeah.
yeah, see, so it really is in place by the people that want you to become the corporations that want you to become consumers in the first place.
Yeah.
Because they already know that if I give you the game, then now you're not a consumer, you're my competition.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what we got, and see, and that's what we fall victim to that, right? And I was just talking to me, I was talking to Van about this, how we like it could be a child it could be 20 kids out there, and the child that's the sorriest child on that court, right? Still love to get out there and play, even though he or she know they're gonna lose. They love to play. Why? Because they was born to compete in sports, win, lose, or draw. Why
Right.
we don't teach them like that when it come to business? Why we don't teach them like that when it come to life? You know what I'm saying? What you know, like you know, I had kids when my first spelling bee. They was nervous. They was scared. Like, what I'm gonna do if I spell it wrong? I said the same thing you do if you miss a shot or you lose a football game. You get better and you come back next year. Like, but
Right.
they haven't been taught to compete in that world. We only been
Right.
taught to compete in sports, and that's it, you know. And that's
Right.
part of the CEO Youth League. We changing the narrative. Now we're gonna compete in being the next Elon Musk. We're gonna compete into being the next person that invent the next social media. Like the world is big, and you need to compete on all these levels. And you're not too small or small minded of a person to believe you could be on that level. Like our kids don't even
Right.
know. No one has ever told me. Like I had a 10-year-old, and I told him, I said, "Well, I can help you start a business." He was like, I can't start a business. I'm too young." He don't even know that he can start a business right now at 10. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody in
Right.
his life has even told him that. So just the little stuff,
Right.
like you said, just assets and liabilities. Just to be in a classroom with young kids like y'all did last year. I salute y'all when you and your partner Jerry came and talked to the kids.
Yeah.
We could never find that when we was at that age. The guys, you know,
Right.
black men especially come to and have events that we ate free and we talked about business and real estate. That wasn't no, we can't find that. And not to
Right.
knock these programs now, but all it basically is the public school, Ralph Wilson, all these things. And salute them. They institutions. So
Right.
I can't compete with them right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
but all that art is they high paid babysitters. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like
it.
they're not them kids not getting no game. They're not getting no real life situation. They don't know nothing about banking, credit, all this type of stuff. We're not getting that in there. We just housing them till your mama get off. And the parents need it. Why? Because they have to work. So it works. The public
Right.
school and that works. That's why what we're doing now with the House of Resources is going to be after school programs, all that, but they're going to be up in there learning about business, credit, real estate. Like you drop them off with
No
us, it's
doubt.
going to be a whole different ball game. They
Right.
gonna be going
That's
to school
right.
teaching the
That's
teacher.
right.
They gonna be going to school teaching the teacher game about investing and stuff. You feel me? So
That's right. That's
that's
right.
changing the narrative. That's us instead of complaining. That's us coming together as black men and figure out what we gonna do. And we, you know, like I don't knock people that go march and all that. That's cool. That's part of it. You know, it's all levels
Hmm.
of what we got to do to fight this fight.
Right.
But if we don't do it the business way, we don't do it sitting at the table with the big wigs and the big money, and we don't do it by owning stuff in the community and buying back our properties. If we don't do it by having our own police force and our own security teams and stuff like that, if we can't feed ourselves, if we can't, you know, if we can't do all these things, no one's ever gonna even listen to it because what we gonna do? We can't rebel against them. We need them. They got, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell my partner, we
Yeah.
can't ask our people to fight against the system when the system feeds them, house them, clothe them,
Right.
everything, educates them. Like even if you're a older person and your kid get killed, you might go march. Then what? Because you got to go work for them. We waiting on them to send you a check. You still waiting on them to so even the system that you hate still take care of you. So really, how much can you hate them?
That's true.
You know, so
That's true.
that's the dilemma we in, and as black men especially, but as a community. But I put it on us because we have to take our communities back because it was taken from us systematically.
Right.
It was taken from us by giving women vouchers and places to stay and food
That's it.
by leaving the black man out. It was taken from us by we're gonna just throw drugs in the neighborhood and what they doing now with the opioid, they giving everybody rehab and all that. They was giving us 20, 30 years for the same addicts.
Prison
It was
time.
a lot of them dudes were just addicts getting that big time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
so that was systematically done, and we gotta acknowledge that and then push through that as black men by coming together and building together.
Right. And the important thing is to do, what, shout out Van and his mission, and your mission to get the youth where they are right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Because now is a time, from when they're like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, to where we can really start planting seeds in them and putting that seed in the right environment
yeah.
so that it can grow and be nurtured, and so that it can grow up and be something special and not a part of that system as a statistic. Because I mean, we're talking about the schools. I mean, we already know it's a school to prison pipeline.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
You got young in prison, right? You have grown men in cells that are addicts and on drugs and things of that nature, right? They doing drugs. It's a lot of drugs in the right.
Yeah, yeah.
You got students that are 9, 10, 11, 12 years old in a cubicle in a public school on very similar drugs.
Hmm.
Ritalin, the all the Cylert,
Yeah.
all the ADHD medicine that sedates our
Stuff they too young to be taking for once,
man. Look, they in the bathrooms fighting, you know,
driving them crazy.
catching
It got their mind unbalanced,
they catching cases,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like referrals, that ain't nothing but a case.
They getting set up for the they in training for the prison, don't even know it. They got them in training.
You don't even know it.
When my book came out, I just did I did my fingerprints a couple weeks ago, but I'm still getting this property threw me off. But I got a couple juvenile detention centers that I'm about to be starting going to it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I asked. I was asking them like, okay, what's the plan when they get out of juvenile? What do they got? They don't what like it do basically like nothing. Like most of them just gonna turn around and go to the county. They gonna mess up again. So it's no programs. It's no come home and because they really a lot of them too young for jobs. So they in the middle where they stuck, and that's why I love what Van has said about. See, I focus on like all of you. I focus basically from birth to 1920. But
Right.
I understand what Van talk about when he say he stick with he focus right there with the teens because they the ones that least funded and they the ones that it's a great spot. They're not kids no more, but they're not grown. You know what I'm saying? So they're in the middle and they kind of abandoned with the funding. They abandoned when that guy told me that I'm like. So if a juvenile go to a kid go to juvenile, come out, there's nothing to help them. There's nothing with anger management. There's nothing with jobs. There's nothing, no programs. So that's why I like, okay, that inspired my mind. Okay, now I got to give them I got to give them a curriculum. I got to have them somewhere they can come home. They can call CL Youth League. Got mentors. We help them start businesses. We give them a little side job. We got to become the Resources, and that's why I named the House of Resources because for the years I've been thinking about. We got to have our own resources. Like, we're starting a food bank, not because it's not churches that give out food banks. We just need to know that we can come to somebody like us that look like us and get fed too. It's not saying that churches should stop feeding. They're doing a great thing. I ain't got money like them. I ain't got the write-offs. I can't feed as many people. But at the same time, we need to know that it's a Black organization that you can get fed, you can get food from. They can help you with a bill. They can help you with this. They got security. We got those same resources, and that will start empowering the community to really be behind it. And that's why I call the call to action today was the community. I need y'all to come and support. I need y'all to come spend money because that's coming right back into the community to y'all kids. I don't want to charge these kids nothing. I want the products we sell and the communities spending money with us is funding all the kids, unless it's like a specific curriculum or something. Everything else, food, classes, events, all that stuff is free for the kids. So that's how we got to do it because it got to be a community thing.
Right. No, it has to be. It has to be, especially in our community. Like we definitely have to come together. We definitely have. I love how you teach on nation building.
Yeah.
Right. I even took some of that teaching to my tribe and start breaking it down. Like, look, this is just the mechanics, the framework of how to build a nation, and then you put the right people in the right places in this community so that we can actually grow and flourish and come out and be separated from the system in which we've been so dependent on. And again, it's not just dependent like mentally, it's like I always have to hammer down like this thing is like genetic. It's genetic. It's a genetic dependency on a system that does not provide you everything that you need in the first place. Because like you were saying, it's a baby, public schools or after school care, a lot of them are like babysitters, right? Why do the parents need babysitters? Because they're going and working for the corporation that one day their children are being trained up right now to replace them at.
No, it's not. It's all. It's what was talking to my tribe for the win. You already know. No, but yeah, it's. That's why I tell people like, I started off in the book talking about everything that's done to us is set up systematically, right? So we could call it out, but to just settle for it is the problem that I have with our people. Like everything we can say that the systems done, and still doing is true. but
Right.
we make it easier for them because we there's no resistance, there's no pushback, there's no collective minds building. How many? I'm gonna ask you this question. Let me see if you know. How many black think tanks do you think we have in the United States of America?
Oh man. You mean like
Like
think tank?
legit black think tanks, like like somebody that can like actually take money, like set up. I'm not talking about just some homeboys. I'm talking about like a think tank that's set up where they got websites, they got that type
Man,
of situation set up.
it's a few, but I can't count that many on my right hand.
I know of one, and that's Dr. Claude Anderson. That's super legit. I know it's some other ones that you
Right.
can consider as think tanks, but
Right.
as a think tank, Dr. Claude
Right.
Anderson is the only one I know.
Man, I'm about halfway through that Powernomics right now. I read it every night, a few pages every night.
Yeah, it's just the principles of it. I didn't been through it, and I use it as just referencing points to motivate. You know what I'm saying? Encourage,
Right.
push, because sometimes it feels a little deflated. You don't know if you can really. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 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 No, I agree. And that's what it's important to build. It's important to find your tribe, so to speak, because those are the people that's gonna build with you. And those are the people that's going to come out and be separate from the system that you're talking about. Because what you say you got to educate yourself, feed yourself, clothe yourself, buy your own land slash real estate. You got to be able to protect yourself. Those are
Yeah,
the things that have to do with
yeah.
building a nation. But I can't do that by
Service.
myself.
Uh,
But you can't do that by yourself.
no, you can't. You can
You
try.
know, you could try, but it'll
You can
never
try, but it
happen.
ain't, it ain't gonna be. And see, that's what I have to, and this is what I have to learn and get better at, right? Because in the street world, it's all about you. What's up, Instagram? I just switched over to Instagram, and I'm on here with my boy Mike. You know what I'm saying, Mr.
Yes,
Lamp, and
sir.
how we
Yes,
on that? We
sir.
on YouTube, Realer Than Real Wednesdays. Realer Than Real Estate Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? So we're in here
Right.
chopping it up, but like I say, it's bigger than life. So it's bigger than real estate. So we're gonna be talking about all kind of life stuff. But
Right.
yeah,
Now we're
nah,
gonna get into some real estate too,
yeah,
though.
we're gonna break the real estate
We're
down. We're
gonna
gonna
we're gonna we're gonna break it all the way down
we
for
already
you, show
talking
you
about
how to get some money.
presentations and everything. Like
Yeah.
he's like, how we gonna
Yeah.
share the screen? I need to presentate. So we're gonna if y'all want to
Yeah.
see that, every Wednesday we're gonna have different times. Right now we haven't locked in on the time. We started at a little bit after 8 tonight, but it might be a little earlier. But yeah, if you gonna want to see the presentations and stuff, you're gonna have to go subscribe to Wealth is Gangsta on YouTube. But I salute y'all for tapping in.
Right.
But yeah, this gotta be collective, but we gotta see. That's what I was talking to Ms. Brown about. We have to start showing why being together benefits us. See, we don't see it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
talk about coming together. First thing we think about is, I don't know, you might get over on me. You know what I'm saying? Like who gonna watch the money or who do like we start thinking
Right.
about because
Right.
we have a scarcity mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We
Right.
don't understand, and that's why I was telling her like the flyer I put out today is part of breaking down my version of Dr. Claude Anderson because I put out 100 families commit to donate $10 a month. You know what I'm saying? 50 businesses
Right.
donate commit to or more. I had some people do more than 10, but at least but that gives somebody like, okay, well, if I just came out and said, say, I need $1,000, people look at you kind of crazy, but I'm like, man, hey, 10, 15, $20, whatever you can do. Now we more talking. I'm not gonna shut people out because $1,000, 90+% of people gonna shut me out soon they hear the end of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like $10, even if you ain't got $10, you be like, oh yeah, man, I can do that probably by this weekend or something because that's more attainable. And if we
Right.
understand that the group of economics like Tulsa real estate, we raised $10 million in 1 week. That was like 10,000 people. About 10,000 people. The
Hmm.
museum, the Hidden History Museum that's
Right.
about to open in Cali.
Right.
We raised $1 million in 30 days. That's like 8,000 people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
the Baton Rouge experiment with Julian Gordon. I forgot how many. I think we raised like 4 million or something, but that was like 4,000, 6,000 people, whatever. But that shows you the power that instead of that one person that we all can put in 25, 30, 40, $50, we become
Right.
this giant all of a sudden. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
Right.
just think
Right.
about it, right? If we had 20 of us that came together and put $100 a month up, and
Right.
we met in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we can go
Right.
knock out some
For
$100.
real.
That's something you can do, not even stressing out, not even count against like regular life and bills. Something that's more attainable that we can be like, you know what? If we got 20 people putting every month. That's $1,000. So every month we got two. So in 6 months we had 12. What can we go knock out with 20 of us? We got $14,000 in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right.
that fast, it makes all the plans more obtainable, more. But we don't know that. Every other group know that. Every other group do this. This is like
Right.
second
Right.
nature to them.
Right.
We
Right.
talk about it and we got to convince and try to talk you into it and like like I don't know, man. Well, who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? Now we
Yeah.
LLC. Everybody got the same liability. Everybody, it's easy ways, but we don't know that world.
Right.
And we gotta.
Right. Right.
The House of Resources is gonna be about making that second nature. Like even when we talk
Right.
about the kids, they're gonna assets, liabilities, stocks, bonds, real estate. We're gonna have 10, 11, 12-year-olds that's second nature to them. That
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
at the
Right.
same time, we're gonna be cultivating guys like us. I see that house birthing a lot of millionaires. Why?
Real
Because
talk.
we're gonna pour into each other, and that's gonna be a mastermind spot where I make
Right.
sure that when they come through, they know I need a real estate. Oh, this is the House of Resources. Hit my boy up with the real estate. Hit this up. I got a plumber. I got an electrician. The House of Resources is one place where you can come and meet other business people, other entrepreneurs. I already talked to 2 millionaires that's gonna come and do a seminar there that's locally from the town of Temple. So now we bringing in that other side of money that we don't never talk to these guys. We don't talk to the other side that's at the golf course. They don't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we already making an impact and we ain't even open yet.
Right. And that's the powerful aspect about what you did as far as the call to action, because the first thing that we had to create is culture.
Yeah.
We have to create a culture of cooperation that will equal into like revitalization, right?
Yeah.
So because like for example, them new Jays come out, we're quick to run to the new Jays, right? Or the new, LeBron's, John Morant's, whatever the case may be, right? But, and I started looking at this stuff after I met you as well. But what if the culture was, the stock value of Nike or the stock value of Jordan, has it gone up or has it gone down? You know what I mean? And just looking at it from that different aspect to where the young adults that we're dealing with, the children that we're dealing with, they'll buy the Jays, but they're more inclined to buy stock in Jordan so that when they buy the Jay, they're wearing something they own. But not only that, all their homeboys that buy the Jays or all the other people that buy the Jays, they making money off of them buying Jays, right? Or just things like that. It's creating a culture of cooperation.
Definitely
Understanding business.
We gotta do it where they feel like it's cool, right? Like our kids, no matter what, they want to be cool, they want to be hip, they want to be quote unquote real gangster, whatever it is. Even if you're telling them something good, you got to make it feel like this is culture, because we're brainwashed that a lot of the crazy stuff is culture. So right now that this culture to do the wildest thing is culture. No, that's crazy. That ain't culture.
That's not our culture.
That's not our culture. We've been programmed.
We've been programmed.
So like at my first ever CEO Youth League event, we got the video. We did the video. Mm-hmm. I think 12 of my kids became investors that day, and the way I got them is most all of them had Nikes on. I'm like, so if y'all got on Jordans and Nikes, pull out your phone. And I think most of them had like $5, $10, with the parents and stuff. They went in their cash out and bought some Nike stock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They became a stockholder at that first event because, like I told them, okay, everybody at school got on Jordans, but how many kids own stocks and Jordans? Stocks and Nike. So now you're cooler than them now because y'all got on the same J's, but they just don't own stock like you. So now now I done made it a competition that they're gonna be at school. Hey man, we both got J's, but I own stock. You got stock in your J's yet? Now people home, Mama, I need some stock in my J because kids come, they want to compete on who the coolest, who the flyest.
Right.
You can't be flying than me if I own stock, and if we got on the same shoe, but I own stock, I'm cooler than you.
not only I own stock, but I own the shoes you wearing.
Yeah, you paying me to wear them.
Like you paying me to wear your them
Yeah,
shoes.
for
Like what's
sure.
cooler than that?
Cooler
If
than that.
I'd have been the I'd have been the coolest
Yeah,
cat, and I'd have stayed in school probably.
for real. And that's
If
what I'm
I'd have
saying.
owned stock, I mean, you know what I mean, in the shoes that I'm wearing,
Yeah.
that makes me the coolest.
For real. And that's what we
Yeah,
got to do. And that's what the CEO Youth League was birthed on, because I understand that's what I want. I didn't become a street dude because I wanted to be a street dude. Like, a lot of kids want to be a street dude. I became a street dude, or a guy in the streets, because I was the oldest of four. My mom was always at work. And actually, my first deal was a business deal, right? I had
right,
the little dollar food stamps back in the days, you know what I'm
right,
saying? Like,
right. I
so
remember.
I went to I walked from Mellow Village to the 7-Eleven that used to be there. I think it's a CC's Pizza now. I bought a thing of hot dogs, and all the street dudes, I put them on the pit and sold it to them for $1. That was my first making money. But they
Right,
seen that, and instead of turning that into helping me become a businessman, they turned that and been like, man, you got hustle on you. Let me put this in your hand. You can
that's
sell
right.
this. See, and that's why I'm like, okay, well, what if I could have been that older dude that took that same young Tony and said, you know what, I'm gonna help you with a hot dog stand. You could be the hot dog stand in the
There you
hood.
go.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
Like,
That's
I'm
right.
gonna
There
get
you
you some
go.
bottles of water. I'm gonna get you some hot dogs. You just pay me back off what I gotta put up. You gonna be the hot dog stand in the hood, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
where is that energy at? Why did you know?
right,
So that's what the CEO Youth League was birthed on. That type of energy. Like, I understand the environment. I understand all that. But instead of putting that drugs and putting some crazy stuff into their hand, giving them game. Even if you ain't doing it per se, you can still be like, man, because the older cats used to do that back in the days. They was messing up. They like, you ain't finna mess up. You gonna stay in school. You gonna do this. The
right,
new cats,
right,
they use the youngsters to be their crash dummies.
right, right. Yeah, and that's why, the House of Resources, what you and what Van is doing as well is so important
Yeah,
because again, so it's about fathers and sons too though.
yeah,
My chief teach us that that's how we redeem our bloodline is by turning the hearts of the fathers back to the sons and the hearts of the sons back to the fathers,
yeah,
right? And a father is somebody that can come into a young man's life and pour into him in such a way that that young man can surpass that father,
mm-hmm.
and then it'll continue to go up. It'll
Yeah,
continue to go up. That community
yeah,
will continue to go up. But when we teach our children, or when we're taught about, take care of yourself, individualism, surviving,
yeah.
and we in a position to where that's all we can do is survive.
That's it.
It makes it very difficult. And then you take the father out of the house.
On top of all that.
That's the weaponization of the prisons,
Yeah.
of the streets, is really taking the children away from the fathers.
And the power, and that's why in most households they were ran by women, but because the government gave the woman the most power. They gave them the jobs, they gave them the resources. Just as long as that man ain't
Right,
in the house, I'll pay your rent, I feed you, I give you this house, all that stuff, but keep that man out. And while you keep that man
right,
out and he out there on the streets, and now we're gonna lock him up, we're gonna over police him, we're gonna drug him
right,
up. Like, it's all
right, right,
systematically, bro. It's all set up
right,
like that. And we gotta call it out, but then not just protest and cry about it. Like, this a
right.
big
That's
big
right.
boy game, and I said to Van the other day, and I done said this a few times. Like, I wake up every day going hard. I'm 40 years old. I wake up every day focused and going hard because I'm competing against the 40-year-old Donald Trump, the white
Right,
man that got the power,
right.
that already got resources, already got family wealth. He already got it, right. But he
That's
but he
right,
gonna see somebody like me that's coming forward, and he ain't trying to hear that. He ain't trying to, like, you know what
right,
I'm saying? Like, nah,
right.
man,
No, that's true.
I'm old money. You can't come up in here with that new money and all that old black talk and stuff. You got to get on. So
Right,
that's who I got to compete with. I ain't got time to be beefing
right,
with another black man. We powerless. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like, if we
right,
if we can't find a way to build, man, hey, I salute you and I wish you the best. I ain't got no problems with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
right,
focused on I'm focused on. I know my enemy. I know the real oppression that I know what I need to achieve before I'm gone. Like, I buried my
right,
coach's partner 30 plus years Saturday. Like
Right.
we ain't got a lot of time here, man. And a lot of time we be playing and wasting, and before you know it, it's a wrap. And like I tell everybody, man, the second you gone, the world moves on, bro.
That's true.
I'm talking about the second. It's gonna be people that cry. It's gonna be people that miss you. It's gonna be there for a little bit. But the second you gone, it's a wrap. And then it's about what your legacy, what you left, the institutions you built.
Right.
Then that's when all that comes up now. What you did. Now, if
Right.
you didn't put that imprint, like I tell people all the time, it's a lot of people that died the same year Malcolm died. But we only remember Malcolm because he put in that work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He put in that work. He
Right.
left that legacy. He left an imprint, and that's what we got to do on different
Right.
levels. Of course, whatever. It's gonna be different levels. But as Black men, we can all put an imprint in our community. Can't nobody stop that if we really want to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can't nobody stop that, man. So that's
Right.
just my spiel on it. But yeah, we got to build together. We got to work at it. Then that's what I love about me and Van Show, right? Because you was around when we came together with the Impossible, right?
Right. Right.
And it didn't go right? And me and you had talks about it after then, right? But as Black men, it never got disrespectful or crazy. It was just about, see, we new to all this. So sometimes things don't go the way we want it to go. And
Right.
a lot of times we get the street come out of us, man, forget them.
Right.
Right. Now we got to understand that maybe that wasn't the right timing. Maybe we was all too young for that moment. Maybe it's a lot of things that could go wrong, but that don't mean that's an enemy. That don't mean that man heart was in a good spot. My heart was in a good spot. Your heart was in a good spot. We figure it out and we learn and we get better for the next go round.
Right.
But nobody ever taught us that. We got to learn that on the job. We, you know what I'm saying?
We all over
with me and running businesses that taught us how to do conflict resolution and all that. We learned learned in the street. You get mad, man. F them, man. Forget them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what we got to learn and teach each other and work with each other and understand that, okay, we ain't agree all the time, but let me try to figure out why Mike see it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you telling me something that's gonna better the mission, that's what it's all about. Forget the ego, forget my pride. Like if you try to give me some game that's gonna get us to the level that I say I want to be on, I shouldn't have no problem taking the information from you.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to my the co-owner of my we own a couple business together, Jerry Pearson.
Yes, sir.
And just being yeah. Salute Jerry. That was my first business partner. Man, we've been running for going on 4 years now. So I learned a lot being with Jerry and just ripping and running because I had that solo dolo mindset. I always been like, solo dolo, I'm not dealing with nobody. I'm gonna move how I'm gonna move.
Yeah.
But understanding business and then understanding that in business, especially if you want to grow and scale, you're always gonna have to. Business and life are both the same.
Yeah.
Because you're always gonna have to leverage your relationships.
Always.
Period. You always got to leverage your relationships. So So it's important that we connect with each other and that we stay building with one another and that we do go through the ups, the downs, that we have that what's called that radical transparency.
Yeah.
That look, say what's on your heart, say what's on your mind, get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Especially us as Black men, because again, systematically, the man was out the house.
Yeah.
And mama became trying to be the man, right? And mama was telling the son, nah, don't buck. Right? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Keep your mouth closed. Just stay under the radar.
Yeah.
Stay under the radar. Just go to school, get a degree, get a job, get you a family, stay under the radar.
Basically showing us how to be submissive.
Showing us how to be submissive, but it was because mom just seen dad get beat up by the police.
No, it was for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was a survival thing. It wasn't like they
were,
and that's what I'm saying. And then and at the same time, a lot of our parents grew up in the 60s, 70s, right? So what was they hearing about then? Black men that talked a certain way came up missing, you know what I'm saying? So they grew up with that fear. So when they have kids, their first thing is, I got to protect this little black boy. You need to be quiet, listen to what they say. Don't be raising your voice, stuff like that. So I get it. It's never a blame or go at. that I get it, but we got to call it out and work, because like I've seen some people talking, Michael Dean, man, rest in peace, and I've seen some people
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
and that's tragic, man. And
yeah. It is.
like I tell people, they ask me, I talked about this last night or the night before about protesting, right? I don't knock it, but I don't have to protest because my life is a protest. The way
There
I
you go.
live every day is because I don't. Somebody was harmed or hurt by the police today. It just didn't make the news. Like, this ain't
Right.
no one shot off. This happens every day, and until we take it like that, see, we're real emotional, right? So if we see something on the news, then we get emotional. We want to tear up something. We want to march, right? But this
Right.
happens every day. So every day I wake up knowing what can happen to me, what can happen to another black man, and that's why I'm so focused. I'm so driven to try to accomplish building a system within this system. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
that
Right.
drives me. That's my rush. That's my high. That's my push to try to figure out how can we have a good seat at the table in this game of Monopoly, because that's all it is. Is a game
That's
of Monopoly, man.
right. That's emotions.
Yeah.
That's your energy in motion
Yeah.
on an everyday, daily basis.
Every time you talk to me for
Straight
years,
up.
I had the same conversation every single time.
Right. Right. Straight up. Like you said, it's okay to march, it's okay to protest,
Yeah.
but don't neglect the things that's really the protest, that's really the march,
Yeah.
that's really the Declaration of Independence, is to come, form a collective, form a group,
Yeah.
cooperate, so that not only can we put ourselves in a better position, but we can put the next generation in a better position. And that's why it's this, this called Realer Than Real Estate,
Yeah.
because that's what the real mission is. It's to change the narrative,
Change the narrative. That's it.
but not just the narrative of what's being spoken, the narrative of what's being enacted,
Yeah.
what we actually doing.
Yeah.
And that's where that culture comes in, right? Because it's a culture, like, you won't hear nothing about nobody. They won't protest their job, but they're gonna be protesting today and tomorrow,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they won't protest, um, and more important things, but they'll go out and protest or complain or have something to say about their job or whatever the case may be. But now they got a place where they can come and put their energy at. they,
Yeah.
they can come and be emotional. They can
Yeah.
put their energy in motion at the
Yeah.
House of Resources.
At the House of Resources, and that's how we're gonna do
Right.
it, man. So, say this is the first episode. We're gonna try to stay disciplined on our hour blast. But as we wrap up this first episode, with everybody that just joined on Instagram, this is Realer Than Real Estate Wednesdays. I got my boy Michael Lane. We on the Wealth is Gangster YouTube channel. We was on Facebook at the Wealth is Gangster channel. So y'all tap in with us. As we ended it up, man, I love the show, love the energy. Long time coming. I appreciate you. I respect what you're doing. And like I say, I'm finally gonna be able to sneak my mentorship out of you. I've been trying to beg this man for mentorship for years. He be moving so
Yeah.
fast. So now that I got him on the show, I can kind of get a little glimpse of mentorship from him every week.
We're gonna get into it too. I want to really drop some gems and add some value. We're gonna be talking about the different types of real estate investing, how the market can shift up and down, what that looks like, how you can make money when it go up, how you can make money go down, how you can make money with no money, no credit, no experience,
Yeah.
how you can utilize your time and your knowledge to create money. And then you can shift from, once you get the money, you can utilize your money and your knowledge to create time.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of the rat race.
And that's real freedom right there. Once you accomplish
Yeah.
that's the freedom when you can do what you want to do on your time and actually enjoy your life. Actually put
Right.
your kid in the school if you choose. Actually take your wife and your family places when you choose, not when they give you a vacation. Now we're gonna plan a vacation. I'm gonna work hard for these 3 months and then I'm gonna take this off. You can be the dictator of your life. And so it's not about how much money you got, it's about how what kind of position you can put yourself financially, where you're making money while you sleep, but your life is on autopilot with everything going and flowing, man. So this
Right,
is
right.
gonna be another powerful show, man. And I appreciate Mike. But like I said, he came up with the name, you know, and I've been telling him we got to do something together. And this is, like I told Ben, this is another accountability partner. This is another partner now. We're gonna be forced to stay in contact. We already do that, but you know, our lives, but with the House of Resources, we already like this. That's gonna be his second home too. So anytime y'all see him doing seminar or whatever he gonna be doing, I'm gonna make sure he come through and do a version of that at the House of
Right.
Resources, man. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
we got
sir.
big plans coming, so y'all gonna see a lot every Wednesday. We're not gonna say a time yet because we might do it earlier tonight. It was like 8:15. Most of the time, you talking about maybe 6, 7, just depending on he busy, man.
Maybe
He
like
be ripping
7.
and running. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna try to you know, time block it out,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and get something. If I need to get some things done, you know, I'm gonna get it before, you know,
And,
so that I can
and
spend
like I
time
say,
with
if
the
it's ever
family
a time where
afterwards.
you got to do something, we can pre-record or whatever. So we'll figure it out. Like I say, we kicked it off. That's the most important thing. We got it jumping, man. So
Right, right,
to keep
right.
it with that hour, we salute
Hey
everybody.
man, it's gonna go down.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
go
go
down,
down.
man. So y'all make sure y'all tune in next Wednesday. Subscribe, like, and share the Wealth is Gangster channel. We'll see y'all next week, man. Peace. Yeah, this was powerful.